I wanted to do one more quick update for BBCAN tonight because I don't know if I will be able to do an update tomorrow. And also, things can change by the time I'm able to air this later tonight. But let's talk about my ever-growing hatred for Kyle Moore, who is ironically, honestly, very similar to last season's Kyle Moore. I don't see the difference, and to be honest, I never seen the difference. And between Kyle and Marty spiraling, I'm really hoping neither of those two win the game. At this point, these are the only two I don't want to win this game. I would rather have shallow-ass Stephanie win this game than Kyle or Marty. So, speaking of Marty, he also had a deal with Betty, and we did not know much about this deal until he's been talking about it today, because he's thinking about going back on that deal with Betty, even though he won't go back on that deal with Stephanie. Further, leading into the thing I talked about in my last video, where Marty's really wants to protect the whites, even though protecting the whites is really making his HOH messy, especially if he goes through with putting Betty. Then Marty has gone through a lot of names this week as an HOH, further cementing the chance of him winning in the end looking bleak. But the thing that annoyed me about Kyle is when Marty was talking about this with Kyle and the possibility of him putting up Betty if he thinks that Jay might have the votes against Kevin, is that Kyle puts in his 2 cents about Betty, about how Betty can't win her way out of a paper bag in a comp. Kyle saying this with all of this ego that he has, that even though Kyle sitting there has not won anything his own damn self. Kyle sounding exactly like Kyle Moore number 1. There's not a whole lot of difference between Kyle Moore number 1 and Kyle Moore number 2, and I do not like him, and Twitter did all this hyping up of him last year because, oh my god, they thought he was the right Kyle Moore and he was the wrong Kyle Moore. But there's not a whole lot of difference between them, honestly. Elsewhere, Kevin continues to play the damn thing, and I am really at the point already where I either hope Kevin plays everybody's asses and wins this game, or Helena plays everybody's asses and wins this game, or Summer, who has the men wrapped around her finger at this point. All the men love Summer. Even Kevin says he's obsessed with Summer because she's hilarious. I hope that Summer is able to avoid the women getting jealous, similar to LaToya, and them coming for when Spicy V came for LaToya last season. I hope that Summer can juke out of that situation and use the men and win this game. Those are the 3 people I'm rooting for at this point in the game. Is either Kevin plays everybody, or Helena plays everybody, or Summer uses the men to get a win. Because everybody else is getting on my nerves. I mean, Joss isn't getting on my nerves, and he's still in a pretty great spot in the house. But Kevin, back to Kevin. Kevin's getting a lot of information from everybody. Everybody wants to tell Kevin their game and who they're close to and who they talk to a lot. Kevin has a lot of information on who is working with who and has probably the best lay of the land right now out of maybe everybody, even though he doesn't have any close connections himself. He's great at getting info, and he's been using Marty today to get info, and he used Helena to get info, and he's used a lot of people. He kind of failed with Josh, and I don't think he got as much info out of Summer as he was hoping. But Kevin is getting a lot of info, and Marty wants to make sure he doesn't go home this week, even though he might nominate him. Marty doesn't make any sense. Marty's a bald-headed bitch, honestly. There's also a lot of awkwardness with Stephanie, who continues to try to get Gino. Gino is so annoyed at Stephanie constantly trying to get his attention. It's getting cringy at times. Gino loves to give Summer attention, and of course Gino and JC love to talk, but Gino isn't giving Stephanie that attention, and it's just getting awkward at this point in time. So, as it stands, the last time I watched the feeds about an hour ago, when I'm recording this might air a little later than that, was Marty hoping to put up Kevin, but only if he is certain that Kevin will have the votes against Jay. He might go back on his word with Betty. God, the men in this game get on my nerves, but they are outplaying the women, and it's already getting annoying, and it's only week 2, and I don't know if this is going to turn out to be a good season or just a season that gets on my nerves. I always hate in these games how the men always just think they could use the women to their advantage and go back on all these personal things with the women. I don't know. And then Kyle talking shit when it's week 2 and Kyle thinks he's fucking running this game on week 2. It's similar to Moose, who thinks he's running this game on week 2. Similar to Marty, who thinks he's going to be running this game after week 2, even though he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and he's kind of all over the place.